A very good afternoon to all our viewers. On behalf of the Professional Development Committee of the Institute, our Chairman Prasanna Kumar sir, Vice Chairman Mangesh Khindre sir, we would like to welcome you all to this webinar. This is the second webinar of the series of Unleashing Professional Opportunities. So the Professional Development Committee has started this initiative of holding the series of webinars to tap the professional opportunities in various sectors. The first seminar which we had held was on 19th of May, and that was on project financing. And this is the second of the series, and we'll be holding many more. So today's webinar, we are holding on the topic of unleashing professional opportunities in global financial markets. We have renowned experts today who have got very rich and vast experience. We have today with us C. Jitendra Nath Khemka sir and C. Dr. Aman Chok. Both have got very rich and vast experience in this area. Now I'm handing over proceedings to my colleague Priya. Priya, please continue.
Good afternoon, one and all. Our first faculty is CA Yatindra Nath Khemka. He is a fellow member of ICI since 1991 and has a vast and a rich experience in the field of financial markets and auditing techniques. He has been associated with the ICI for various activities and been a part of various study groups. We welcome you, sir. His first session is on overview and awareness of global financial market. So you can start with the session.
Okay, fine. Chairman of the PDC, Mr. Prasanna, Vice Chairman PDC, Mr. Mangesh, my fellow colleague and co-speaker, Dr. Aman Chok, and more importantly, the Secretariat of the Institute, the Secretary and other member and staff of this Professional Development Committee who are doing wonderful job and to enrich the profession, latest development, and its overall development also. So the topic today is the global financial market, an overview given to me, and my co-speaker will let you aware the opportunities available in this field to the fellow chartered accountants and to our profession. And global financial market is nothing else but an extension of the domestic capital market. Everything which is there in any country in a domestically that is available internationally. Through this market, we have opportunities to arbitrage our borrowing and lending, raising of funds and investing of funds. So at an appropriate, best professional manner. And for this, none other than chartered accountant can guide you better with regard to regulations, with regard to availability, with regard to risk profile, with regard to hedging of risk. So a lot of areas are there. So I am not going into that detail. My professional expert will take care of that. And basically, the global financial market main components are, first of all is money, second is commodity, third is foreign currency, and their derivatives. Derivatives of all three. Basically, this is the main component of any financial market. And main function of the capital market is, as I said earlier, how you raise the funds and how you invest the funds, or how you borrow the funds and how you lend the funds. So for that, we have two types of financial market everywhere. One is money market and second is capital market. And capital market again has two parts, primary market and secondary market. And third part is also derivative market. Derivative market is a very huge market world over. With respect to different type of derivatives, with regard to capital market derivative, you can say with regard to money market, commodity market derivative, interest derivative, currency derivative, so many price index derivatives. So, and every day new instrument comes in to trade with you, to mitigate your risk, to manage your risk, or to structure your transaction in better way. So who control these market? And how the money flows? Important is how the money flows and how the commodities flows, how the currencies flows, and who control those. And means ताकतवर कौन है? Who is the superpower? Who is the powerful man? Who is the powerful country? So powerful country generally those who control the world financial institutions, major institutions like in recent past and which exist today also, like World Bank, IMF, and WTO, OECDs, you can say, and which works under the umbrella of United Nations patronages, and superpower generally the man, the country on which people believe, people rely upon. And to that country, people accept their currencies also, because they can rely that that currency will not deceive them, and investment in that currency or trade in that currency is going to be acceptable everywhere. And this is how what in last 2 centuries emerged, and different type of currencies, different type of system existed in different period of time, and currency got their importances and like that. And today what we are seeing some that from last more or less last 50 years we are following almost the same pattern, and the world is getting unified and united, and trading for their desired needs, and instruments which are available in one part of the world is available in another part of the world. The issue is how one can arbitrage on that, how can other legal issues are relating FDI and all, and we will discuss in further session of the seminar. So this is everywhere. Who controls, whose currency is available to everyone, whose currency is acceptable to everyone. That country controls the world practically. I remember one incident at the time of Humayun and regime. One Nizam, when it got chance to rule for day one, he said that I will issue currency that is called chamda currency, chamde ka rupiya, right? Leather money. So this is the importance, how a king issue the currency and how that currency prevails everywhere and acceptable to everyone. Means that king or the country is powerful one and acceptable to all, and people are relying on that. So the country whose currency is acceptable, people generally buy them, and if they have the surplus currency of that, they also give back to that country itself in its treasury as deposits and to earn a simple interest. And that country whose currency is this give extra money, extra currency, which it has issued to circulate it to the rest part of the world, and they give to the desired countries and earn a reasonable profit. So this is how the currency mechanism works, and this is how the dollar is trading in last 50 years, rather say last 70, 80 years. So more than that, earlier, before 1800 or till early part of the 1800, there were barter system most part of the world, or the currencies were there which are gold or silver denominated. Metal currencies were there basically, and two metals were acceptable to everyone, right? In later years, then Spanish dollar came in, and thereafter when UK after World War, before World War, when UK ruling the world, then sterling pound was acceptable everywhere, and sterling pound was the world currency. So, but after this World War II, practically from 1930 recession, it has given up and dollar came in the picture. When dollar came in, it was packed with the gold. Means US can print as much dollar as it keep the gold. Only on equal amount a US dollar can be kept. And other currencies were packed with the practically dollar. Means dollar were packed with the gold and other currencies were packed with the dollar at a fixed rate. But in 1944, after World War II, again, people, US government, because there was huge recession everywhere, things have changed drastically, and in the year 1970, US government thought it fit, because of the huge recession and everything, that now we are not packed with the dollar, we have to depack it, delink it, and price shall not be fixed, and currency will have free float and fluctuating environment, and prices will fluctuate against each other's currencies. Means rate will fluctuate with each other currencies. So this is how till 1970 this emerged. Then some part of the Eurozone came in. Can I share the slides, please? Then in 1944, Bretton Woods Agreement was there, as I told, and three major institutes come in, which I have already earlier told you. World Bank, which is Industrial and Reconstruction Development Bank, practically full name, and International Monetary Fund, and WTO. Then this European monetary system emerged in 1970. In the European Economic Community started, and in the main theme is that any currency cannot fluctuate more than 2.25% with respect to other currency. So exchange rate cannot be more than fluctuate, has to be fluctuate within this range, plus or minus. So this is how this European money came in picture, and later on in 1999, they have created European zone, and Euro currency came in on January 1. And in European zone, in many countries start accepting that and trading in that. And later on till now, that has become a major currency to trade in. So this is how the currency system evolved until today. Most acceptable currency in the world is still the US dollar. However, there are huge hue and cry nowadays, and there is war between West versus East, and there is huge war of power tussles. So this is, now countries start trading in their domestic, like Russia, India trading in rupee, Russia, India, Iraq trading in rupee. So many countries accepting rupee. So now the new system trying to evolve, right? But as Eastern zone is not very united and unified and not very strong, because Eastern part of the world always see the Western part to sell their commodities. When they want to sell their commodities, they have to accept their currencies. So this is going to be the major problem, that Eastern currency, neither there is single currency. However, the countries are trying to give to the world a unified currency to trade in with the Eastern part of the world. But till today, nothing conclusive happened. I have missed these three institutions practically, which I've said, World Bank, IMF, and WTO. IMF generally main purpose of World Bank and IMF looks to be similar. But this is not the right. Generally, IMF finance your balance of payment requirement, like recently happened in Sri Lanka or happening in Pakistan. People are looking foreign currency money, and they are negotiating with IMF for that. And the purpose of IMF is to meet their foreign exchange requirements, means meet their balance of payment requirement. So, but as far as World Bank is concerned, it is giving finance to the countries for their upliftment, better living standard, for basic amenities, or broadly I can say for their physical requirements. And WTO regime, World Trade Organization, facilitate the platform to the countries to negotiate the deals, right? And to get the right price of their product and services, to settle the disputes between the countries or the people or the companies internationally. It also monitor the international trade policies, give also the technical assistance, right? And cooperation with the international organization. This is the main three organization do. This regime there are different type of instruments like treasury bills, euro, dollar, certificate of deposit, bankers acceptance, which are available in India, available other part of the country. We generally see that many new instruments emerged when the period of globalization started. Many parts in early second half of the 20th century, but in India after 1990s, the world start globalizing, liberalizing, and privatizing. During that period, many instruments like global depository receipt, American depository receipts, even IDRs, Indian depository receipts, this type of instrument to raise money started, and people want to assess the international destination to raise funds or borrow funds. And then again, many type of bonds started trading in or starting available to the people in different part of the company where the money exists. So this is how in recent years, but as things have passed now, we have seen after 30 years that ADR, GDR, people are not talking about. People are not concerned with them. But when it was the year till 2000 or 2005 or 2000, say even till 2005 itself, people generally concerned with that how they can raise the money through GDRs, how can they raise the money through ADR, Indian company basically, I'm talking about. But later part of the world then started private equity domain or QIP domain. These new instruments, the new avenues emerged, startup funding, new type of capital start coming in. And now the startup funding or seed capital or venture capital, we are seeing that domestically these capitals are available. Internationally, definitely available at cheaper rate, but they are available domestically also now. It is matured. There were mutual fund industry were very, very small industry when 1990s were started. Now, mutual fund, there are 40 trillion rupee in India itself. The funds are under management in mutual fund industry. So, this is how different time over the different period of time, different type of papers or different of instruments starting, people start using and people start issuing both. And every instrument has its own risk, has its own like. We have seen the Indian companies start issuing masala bonds to the international market. Means the masala bonds are bonds which generally issued in the rupee denomination to the overseas. Means you are not exposed to the foreign exchange fluctuations because you are raising money in rupee term and you have to pay back in the rupee term itself. So we have seen the derivative market was not practically existing in a smaller way, but now derivative market in Indian derivative market and world derivative emerge a lot. And every day we are seeing a new instrument is coming in and new place of trading of those instruments are coming in. Now in India, GIFT City has started and we will see in July itself that Nifty index will trade there. and so many other instruments will be there to trade in. New type of financial product will be available there. And in the times to come, people must work on this, study this GIFT City mechanism. And this is going to be a great financial destination to raise or invest funds and to structure the financial transaction as well in a cost-effective manner, tax-efficient manner. And it is the right time to study it and plan your financial need, how you can channelize through that destination. So, in my opinion, this GIFT City, because many type of instrument and many type of incomes has many exemptions with respect to taxations, and easy to raise funds or invest funds through this destination. My opinion is that professional will get lot of avenue to set up the businesses, to create the organizations there in that destination. So this I have already covered. Now the world is taking shape and trying to shift the power which was enjoyed by the US and then European zone. But in this part, everywhere there are recession. Other part, there are disturbances. Flow of commodity like energy movement are very less and very difficult. Transportation, international transportation in the past years has gone very high. So the countries, those are importing commodities not available. Transportation is not available. Currency is not acceptable. Uncertainties are also there. These all lead to the recession. But anyhow, the developed nation trying to manage them. And I'm very hopeful that they will be able to manage it. But what is looking at India nowadays? You are seeing that world, as I said earlier also, world rely on your strength. Then what start you, accept you, world accept your currency. So many countries and start trading and ready to trade in Indian rupee, right? So this is evolving. This is not right now. I am saying that Indian rupee shall be acceptable to everyone, but there is talk of town. Definitely in few years we will see the Indian rupee will find its place. And as India is finding its place, now India is the fifth largest economy. And as we are the fifth largest economy, by 2030, someone are saying that by 2030 we are going to be 7 trillion economy. But I'm very definite that India shall be the $10 trillion economy by 2030. And this is by simple calculation, because our nominal GDP is growing around 12% of the rate. And in next 7-8 years, I think cumulative effect we will reach at that 10 trillion, because we are at 3 point something. And total world concern is about debt to GDP. China's debt to GDP 279% of their GDP. And US debt is around 135, and most part of the other part of the world it is more than 100% of their GDP. But as far as India is concerned, we are anyhow able to manage, able to grow in this uncertainty period, difficult period, and of war and COVID. In last 4 years, we are able to manage our growth rate. We are able to manage our physical deficit. We are able to manage our balance of payment, and our reserves has grown up to, at present, it is $600 billion. And we are practically CAD is in surplus if we include services also. So in the times to come, our government is focusing very well on export front and try to manage the import also, and try to create substitute of import also. And we are doing excellent in defense front, and our Prime Minister as a CEO going to United States to have jet engine facility, start manufacturing here in India. I am seeing that in days to come, total defense sector, especially aviation in defense, will see the sea change in that, and the companies in that era will perform well. Now, people in the world, listen us. People of the world, rely on us. People of the world rely on our financial system, rely on our political system, rely on our industrial system. So huge opportunities I am seeing in the days to come for India. And for that, if you go anywhere in the world, they are ready to give you structured finance. Structured finance domestically to the Indian companies and in the world to the Indian companies. So every day, if there are, yesterday there were 5 financial instruments and you have different type of needs, you will find for you there will be 51 financial instrument for your need to meet your financial need. So every day financial instrument around these type of financial instrument evolving every day. And you are seeing that Indian capital market has become very matured capital market now, and it don't fluctuate, it fluctuates, but not, there are no payment problems, there are no fear, because market is sentimental, whether bond market or capital market or money market, these are sentimental also. Even then we have become more matured, funds are available both sides, and things are moving in the right direction. I am time again and again saying that if you want to rule, we have to make our currency more powerful. How the currency will become more powerful? Then we have to come out with this physical deficit type of budget system. Why we are unable to create a budget which is physical surplus? At least now the time is that we should be the current account surplus, and we should be the revenue surplus. We are the current account surplus nowadays. We should be the, as well as physical budget is concerned, we should be the revenue surplus. We should have the revenue surplus. And as soon as these two things will be there, and this deficit financing system will be gone, our rupee will start gaining strength. However, in last 3 years, I have seen in this difficult time, vis-a-vis to dollar and dollar vis-a-vis to other currency, Indian currency vis-a-vis to other currency practically appreciated. And but why I am not seeing that Indian currency should appreciate and other currency should depreciate? There were time that people were thinking, economists were thinking that devaluation of rupee will give better opportunities. Is the right step. And my thought process is, you are capable, you are powerful when your currency will appreciate, not depreciate. Why then, if depreciation is so good, why US is not thinking that his money should depreciate? Its money should depreciate. The dollar should depreciate. They worried when euro depreciated against dollar after issuing it. Eurozone will come under pressure. So we as a country should look into it, and we should start budgeting properly so that our rupee should strengthen. And to grow faster, our tax to GDP should be very, very high. And when I say tax to GDP should be very, very high, means it should be around 15%. And agriculture should grow more than 10%, at least 12-15% for next 12 to 15 years. If we want the inclusive growth, stable growth, sustainable growth for to become developed nation. And for that, different type of financial instrument, financial institutions, different type of, because today what we are finding that there is no financial development financial institution is lacking in the country, which give long-term financing to the desired need for 20 years, for 30 years. Right? These type of financial institutions are not there. New concept recently talked about the social stock exchange. And new type of instrument to raising funds or investing funds will come in for the social organization, for social purposes in social exchange. And social audits also started. So this is going to be one of the new area, new type of financial instruments and new type of regime as far as NPO NGO section is concerned, as far as cooperative section is concerned. And government is focusing on cooperative section in a very big way. And the time will tell, and time will say that how cooperative institution will become new business hubs. We have already seen the successful examples of many in many parts of the country, whether those are cooperative banks or Amul or other Lijjat Papad or so many others. So these are the big cooperative organizations, and government is very keen to give boost to this cooperative sector, and for their financing and for their investments, they are trying to come out with new financial instruments and new mechanism to take care of that. So, in my opinion, today world is not in isolation. Everyone or every information is passing on a fraction of second to each one of us. World is unified. And availability of anything at any place is aware. Issue is that whether we can assess that or not easily, or our regulation permits or not. Nowadays, for long-term capital, we are not seeing the FI's flow. We are looking at FDI's flows. Right? We are definitely concerned with PN notes. KYC is a big talk of the town everywhere in the financial world. People want that every financial instrument or investment or fundraising should be KYC compliant. We should know each other from where the money is coming in, from where money is going out. Right? And international law has come into pictures. FATCA is acceptable to everyone and people are taking care of that. Nowadays, whether stock exchanges, money market, mutual fund industry, banking sector, everywhere, every part of the world is concerned proper KYC. We have seen that new asset in the shape of cryptocurrency is coming in. Even the world is not properly understanding it. But people are saying this is cryptocurrency. Right? So whether this is currency or this is a privately circulated money which no one knows who is controlling it and how is controlling it. Because no government is controlling it practically in the world. So, apart from cryptocurrency, new type of hybrid instruments are coming, which when we do mergers, amalgamation, cross-border transactions, so many new type of instrument people generally generate within the scope of the law of different countries. Indian government, with respect to flow of capital, trying to restrict, liberalize remittances to other part of the country by Indian resident. Because everyone is concerned with the flow of money, how the money is flowing, how the foreign exchange is flowing, how its own currency is flowing from one part to other part, from one sector to another sector, from one person to another person, from one government to another government. We have seen that people are keeping other countries are keeping their extra money to US Treasury. Russia was also keeping that. When sanctions were imposed, US forfeited that extra money. So, Russian deposits in dollar with them. So, this is how one trying to control others' policies, other financial muscle power, and other financial systems. My question is whether India will be able to achieve the target to be the developed nation, whether India will be able to in next 10 years to be number 3rd country in real sense, And worry should be how we should increase our per capita income with respect to that. What type of financial system we should evolve, because we are very far behind as far as per capita GDP, per capita income of our people are concerned. We should thoughtfully give importance to that and try to at least double it in next 3 years. If we do not do that, target to become developed nation is going to be very, very difficult task. We are seeing at a time, sometime, that there is inflation issues. Sometimes we are seeing that interest rates are high. Sometimes central bank trying to increase the interest to control inflation. And even then, we have seen in last 1 year, sometimes after increasing the interest rate, even inflation, many countries are unable to control the inflation. So what type of monetary policy one should adopt? We should work on that. We should think on that. Whether that raising interest rate to control inflation or reducing interest rate to control inflation or to make money supply, that's few things which were traditionally we generally do are relevant today or not. European zone problems of economics are different. US zone's economic problem are different. Japanese economy is struggling and in recession in last 20-30 years. Even it is a developed nation. We are growing at rapid speed. Still, we are far behind to be developed nation. So our financial means fiscal policies as well as monetary policies. We should work hard so that our 50% population should participate in our growth so that we can give inclusive and sustainable growth to the country and to the world. When I say to the country and to the world, because we have the largest population in the country and our share to the population is 1/6. We have already become 1/5 largest economy, and you will see in next 2-3 years we will be the 4th largest economy in real term. At PPP we are 3rd largest economy, but per capita income, if we see, we are far behind again. So, friends, and any physical or financial or monetary policy only give space to have new financial instrument or no new financial institutions and new international financial market regimes. And we have seen in last 200 years that after every 30-40 years or 50 years, say, that financial regime get changed. The power shift is there in that regime. And new financial instrument emerged to meet the new financial requirements. So I am hopeful that in the days to come, as a country, India, we will become more mature as far as financial market, as far as money market, as far as capital market, both are concerned. And we will grow at a rapid speed with better law compliances. And as said, India is number one practically in to do all electronic and digital transactions. Our people are aware to conduct the digital transactions. And the JAM, Jan Dhan accounts, Aadhaar and mobiles are the three things which does wonder in India in practically last decade. And this will also solve the problem of KYC to a largest extent, which was earlier not there. So, in my opinion, all financial market in the world are interlinked, interconnected, and behaving in a similar fashion. And their mechanism is almost same. So, friends, this is all from my side, and I am very hopeful that Amanji will tell you the new avenues, because the role of chartered accountants are very, very important, where financial transactions are there, whether internationally or nationally, whether in money market or capital market. Our role is very, very important, whether as a practicing CA or as a non-practicing CA. It is not necessary that when we talk about opportunities for chartered accountant, opportunities may not be as a practicing CA, opportunities may be otherwise. Because if you will see, most of the people at helm of the mutual fund industry or brokerage industry or banking sector or even the industry sector, you will find the chartered accountant across, not only in India, but across the world at high positions. So I am very hopeful that Indian chartered accountant in times to come will do wonder and will learn the new things which are coming in every day and new opportunities, and grab the new opportunities coming in every day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was indeed a very enlightening session, and I hope all the CA professionals have gained a lot of knowledge from the session. Thank you so much for all the knowledge that you've disseminated. Aman, sir, you're there? Right. So our second faculty is a CA Dr. Aman Chugh, and he has addressed over 1 million industry professionals and financial advisors across 78 countries, including India, and is a reputed name in the domain of financial markets, portfolio management, and derivatives. His views are often covered by reputed print media houses and is regularly invited over national and regional media channels. He has also authored the first ever practical book on currency and interest rate derivatives, published established by Pearson. We welcome you, sir. CA Dr. Raman Chugh would be enlightening us on emerging avenues in global financial markets. We welcome you, sir. You can start with the session.
Namaskar hai ji, Jai Hind hai. Ma'am, one kind request, unless and until I am able to see the audience, I don't know, delivering of session would be quite tough. Can we move this mode from a webinar format into an engaging format as well?
Sir, actually, we have more than 2,000 participants also with us, and moving them to the Zoom call would be difficult because only 500 can be accommodated. So that is the reason this is a webinar. Yes, sir.
And can I also not see those 500 people engaging me
No,
here?
sir. No, that is just one link in which they can join. So we have more than 2,000 participants, so it'll be difficult for you to see everybody.
Okay, so I'll try my level best.
Sure, sir.
So ideally, I'm here to speak about emerging opportunities into the global financial markets. When we speak about global financial markets, I think the punchline is everyone in this economy, whether in the world economy or Indian economy, everyone is engaged in earning their hard-earned money. So that means whether we are a chartered accountant, lawyer, doctor, teacher, trainer, any profession, any job, any business owner, everyone is engaged in earning hard-earned money by engaging from Monday till Saturday. But there is no time with altogether these all sets of people to be managing their money. That means everyone Monday till Saturday is busy at the cost of not taking care of their family as required, not maintaining their work-life balance as required, because everyone is wanting to earn massive money so as to retire early, because the retirement early stage comes across or is envisioned by each one of us because of the growing stress in the worldly affairs and in the homely affairs as well. Now, whatever hard-earned money we are earning, we actually end up handing over this hard-earned money to someone else who is ideally a person who has got his own vested interest in managing our money. We can call him as broker, we can call him as agent, we can call him as banker, we can call him by any name, but the idea is he has got his own vested interest of either making commission or brokerage or incentive or promotion or foreign trips, etc. And that's why we end up not making money, whatever hard-earned money we were actually accumulating. So we were not making money on money. And in line with this, normally by so-called way of mouth, we believe that we are not handing over money to someone else, but we are equipped enough to be managing our own money by doing some sort of financial analysis, which we call it as fundamental analysis. But at the end of doing fundamental analysis, what we end up doing is हम shares खरीदते हैं और उसको long term के लिए रख लेते हैं. Because since we are not able to engage in the timing of when to buy and when to sell, we what end up doing is idly holding them for long term and maybe averaging them through. This is the blunder which we have been doing and which most of our clients would be doing. So as a young aspiring chartered accountant, what we can focus is that maybe gain some practical exposure into managing money of the people in terms of designing their portfolios of wealth in such a manner that we can act as an advisor to them. And we can charge advisory fees from them rather than acting as a broker or an agent. Now, in this vision of getting into the line of action to build up portfolios for the client, but obviously we need to understand some basic clarity about the markets. When I say about the markets, we need to correlate the powerful topic of the markets with the economic policies, because whatever we are doing in the economic policies is nothing but fundamental analysis, and whatever we are doing in the markets is nothing but technical analysis. But the world is beyond this. And when I say world is beyond this, I call this terminology as derivatives. Each one of us has heard derivatives from various people, from various forums, from various books, from various trainers. But I'm sorry to say, that is incomplete understanding about derivatives. And why do I call so? Let me explain you why. Before I go into the conclusion of why derivatives, not being knowing derivatives, you will not be able to understand the markets and the economy. Let me give you a glimpse of this whole picture altogether. World's GDP is approximately $100 trillion. Like India's GDP is 3.5, Japanese is approximately 5, the Chinese is approximately 15, 17, the US is approximately 24, and hence the world is approximately $100 trillion. We all understand GDP, we are all chartered accountants, but in order to clarify, the final value of all the goods and services produced in the domestic territory of the world in one financial year has been $100 trillion. And there is a powerful market which is traded in a year close to $1,200 to $1,500 trillion. Wow. $1,200 to $1,500 trillion of derivatives market. And if you don't believe this data, maybe you can type in on www.bis.org. Now, what is BIS? Most of the people would believe that BIS is, oh, there is Bureau of Indian Standards. No, it is not Bureau of Indian Standards. It is Bank for International Settlement. Now, who is BIS? Well, like we have central bank, which is RBI in India. We have got Bank of Japan as a central bank in Japan. We have got People's Bank of China in China. Similarly, we have got Central Bank of the central banks of the world. And that we call it as Bank for International Settlement. That means BIS. That means if one fine day, Reserve Bank of India of Indian economy requires some money, where does it go? Well, you would have heard that we go to World Bank. No, that is for the government of India. If government of India requires money, it goes to the World Bank or IMF or Asian Development Bank. But what if a central bank of any economy requires money? Where does it go? It goes to the central bank of the central banks of the world. And we call it as Bankers Bank. And we call it as Bank for International Settlement. And over their website, www.bis.org, whole of the data which has been compiled from all the countries of the world is been placed on their website. And you can see with your own eyes that any given period of year for the last continuous 10 years, normally, annually, the derivatives being traded across globe is approximately $1,000 to $1,500 trillion. Let me take it as an average figure of $1,200 trillion. That means for the time being, the first powerful statement is the world's GDP is $100 trillion, while the derivatives market is $1,200 trillion. That means, but obvious, the derivative market will impact the economies of the world. Now, your question will be, why? How? Let me explain. In order to produce GDP, that means the final value of the goods and services, we can divide an economy into three sectors. We all know agriculture, manufacturing, services. Taking care of agriculture and manufacturing sector, in order to produce GDP, what do you require? You require raw material. Raw material means commodity. Commodity means you need copper, you need iron, you need metals, you need agriculture commodities like jawar, bajra, chini, you need, let us say, oil, natural gas, etc. All these commodities, prices fluctuate. That means if commodity prices fluctuate, the business performance of companies into agriculture industry or business performance of the companies into the manufacturing industry, performance will get impacted because of the prices movement of the commodities. If their business performance also gets impacted, the economic performance will also get impacted. And this impact is getting because of the fluctuation in the prices of the commodities. That means commodity markets are impacting the business performance. Hence, I can say commodity markets are impacting the economic policies and economic happenings. And the commodity markets are getting impacted because of the commodity derivatives. That means powerful statement number two. What was the powerful statement number one? The powerful statement number one was derivatives impact the markets, and in line, they impact the economic performances or the businesses performance of the world. This is the first statement, powerful statement. The second statement is commodity derivatives market impact the commodity markets or the commodity prices, and in line, they impact the business performances or the economic performances of the world. This is the powerful statement number 2. That means if we don't know commodity derivatives, we cannot understand commodity markets. And if we don't know commodity markets and commodity derivatives, whatever fundamental analysis we are doing by looking at the financials of a company in order to invest into that company is of no use. So my point is, that means we need to understand the derivatives market, and that to understanding starting from the commodity derivatives. Now comes statement number 3. Before I build up the statement number 3, idea is whether we are into manufacturing, agriculture, or let us say services sector, we need money. That means in order to do business, we need money. And money is carrying a cost. And that cost, we call it as yield. And yield means expected change in the interest rate regime. That means if interest rates today, they change. That means if policy rates, let us say repo rate, or discount rate, or bank rate, or whatever interest rates change today, it will impact the business's performances as well. Because the cost of funds will go up, cost of funds will come down, and it will impact the business's performance. However, interest rates today are getting impacted by the interest rate derivatives. And that means yield derivatives or interest rate derivatives impact the interest rate movements like the MIBOR, LIBOR, MIFOR, OIS, INBNK. There are so many interest rate curves in the world. So many interest rate curves in the world get impacted by the interest rate derivatives. And you have every right to ask me, ye derivatives hai kya? Because even if you know what is derivatives, I believe that is an incomplete definition given by so-called author, trainer, teacher, speaker, whatever. But because the real sense of derivatives is something else. And when I say this, the interest rate derivatives market impact the interest rate movements, and hence it in turn impacts the business performance of the world, and hence the fundamental analysis of the world. This is powerful statement number 3. Powerful statement number 4. In order to do this business, while we were able to fetch funds, which was currency, because currency is printed. In order to print rupee, I need to also look at how much dollar is getting printed. In order to print dollars, he needs to look at how much of global inflation is there or how much of de-dollarization is happening. So that means printing of currency, which is required as a currency flow in order to run business, it will get impacted by currency derivatives. Similarly, if you are an importer or an exporter, if the currency fluctuates, your business will get impacted. And hence, the powerful statement number 4 is currency derivatives impact the currency movements of dollar, euro, pound, yen, etc., which in turn impacts the business performances across globe, and hence the economic performances of globe, and hence the fundamental analysis of the world. So that means unless and until we understand currency derivatives, interest rate derivatives, commodity derivatives, we'll not be able to understand the movement in the currency markets, interest rate markets, and the commodity markets, and hence we'll not be able to understand the fundamental analysis, and hence we'll not be able to make money out of fundamental analysis. And that's why what we do is invest and stay long term. Now, point is, all these GDPs or all the business performance is happening for what? For equity valuation. That means equity prices. Now that means if equity prices fluctuate, ours and yours wealth will get fluctuated. And how does the equity prices get fluctuated? Equity prices get fluctuated because of the equity derivatives, and hence equity derivatives market impact the equity markets, which in turn impact the valuations of the businesses, And hence, it also impacts our financial wealth of portfolio of money, which we have been earning through tough phase of time. These are 5 powerful statements. And now comes the 6th powerful statement. And before I quote this statement, the important point is, where is this derivatives played? Derivatives is played or is traded on 2 counters. One is exchange traded counter and one is over the counter. That means exchange traded counter means if I have to do derivatives, and I'm sure as a chartered accountant, you would have heard about puts, calls, futures, forwards, swaps, swaptions, etc., etc., etc. But I'm not getting into the detail whether really you understand that or not. दिल से समझ आता है या नहीं derivatives वो एक अलग चीज है. Derivatives वैसे समझा है, पढ़ा है, वो एक अलग बात है. And based on जो आपने पढ़ा है, समझा है, उसके basis पे derivatives happen on 2 counters. One happens with exchange and other happens with one of the banks. That means one of the counterparty has to be a bank. Now, 10% of the total derivatives happen on exchange. That means 90% or more. Actually, the figure is 93%. 93% of the derivatives happens through bank. And in the bank, which department handles that derivatives is called as Treasury Department, which we also call it as Derivatives Treasury Department. In India, not more than 400 people, they actually work in Derivatives Treasury Department of a bank. And across globe, not more than 4,000 people, they actually work in Derivatives Treasury Department of a bank. And hence, God's grace, with folded hands, I can proudly say that only a handful of people, they actually do derivatives, and hence they actually understand derivatives. That means if you don't understand derivatives, you cannot understand markets. If you don't understand derivatives, you cannot understand the economic policies. And in order to understand derivatives, the idea is that you need to be working in the over-the-counter department of a bank, which is a treasury department of a bank. And most of the people who give us gyan on derivatives have not worked in the currency and interest rate derivatives department of a bank. And that's why normally we are not able to understand derivatives, or we are not able to understand markets, or we are not able to understand the opportunities which lie ahead being a chartered accountant into this domain. With this opening statement, the idea is, as a chartered accountant, we need to understand that conventional fields of audit, taxation, etc., there are so many people around that domain, but there are only handful of people who can actually work into money-making activity or a portfolio management activity. And that too can happen only if we understand the derivatives. And in order to understand derivatives, I have given you the whole storyline. Within this domain, I'm keeping this topic a bit side and I'm coming on to another scenario which is parallelly getting developed across the globe, so that then I'll be able to interlink the whole scenario. We are going through a phase where the new world order is getting established. When I say new world order, maybe I'll give some 10-15 minutes of a historical underlying. What I understand, ma'am, is I have got time till 3:50.
So till 3:50, yes. 3:50 or 3:55, right?
Sure. Just before First World War was to happen, just before, most of the countries in the world, they had fixed their currency against gold. This we call it as gold standard. Gold standard means whatever gold I have, I can print as much currency in my system, in my economy, equivalent to whatever gold reserves I have. In fact, if you Google it out, by 1875 till 1910, most of the powerful countries of the world, including UK, France, Germany, Japan, etc., 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 all these economies adopted gold standard. In order to adopt gold standard, the idea was that we need to fix the gold rate against our currency to a particular level. Like say, for example, during 1910, UK fixed its pound against gold as 4 pound equivalent to an ounce of a gold. So that means fixation was done of your currency with the gold. Now, whatever gold you have, what you do is multiply by the rate which you have fixed, gives you equivalent amount of currency which you can print. Simple maths. Now, one challenge into gold standard is if your country's population is increasing or your population's skill set is increasing or your technology upgradation is increasing. So that means you have a chance to be more economically prosperous. But in order to be more economically prosperous, you need more money in circulation. But in order to have more money in circulation, you need to have more gold. But gold is already available, whatever I have, unless and until I find a new mine of gold, I cannot print money. Or unless and until I loot another country's gold, I cannot print money. I hope you understand this. Maybe Priyaji, you will have to nod your head on behalf of the rest of the audience. Assuming that you understand, I am able to make everyone understand. Okay? Because you're the only one whom I can see and speak. Yeah.
Right.
So that means Priyaji, and I'm symbolizing Priyaji on behalf of the rest of the audience. That means even if I have to prosper, I need money in circulation. In order to have money in circulation, I need gold because I have fixed with gold standard. And if I do not have gold, I cannot print more money. In order to print more money, I'll have to loot another country. And in order to loot another country, the World War happened. Because I need to loot the other countries of the world who have already looted other countries of the world. Like UK has looted India, so I need to invade UK. So the Napoleon will invade UK, or let us say Hitler will invade UK, or let us say, so you can understand that it is more of an invasive attack. Why? To loot gold. So that I can print more. So that I can have more territories, more resources, more minerals, more gold. Because more gold will lead to more printing of money. More printing of money means I need more industrialization. More industrialization means I need more minerals, more land, more slavery of people, for which I need to own other territories. Now, when this was happening, the countries were fighting amongst each other. World War I happened. When World War happened, most of the countries were not able to sustain because every country was forming groups. See, if you're fighting one-on-one, okay. But when you're fighting in groups, it is not okay. Because then if you are suffering, the other one will also suffer, no matter he's United States of America or UK or whatever. Because now you are fighting in groups. When 4 foxes are fighting with 1 tiger or lion, they can even injure or defeat a lion, correct? I'm not saying that UK was a lion. What I'm trying to share is that even a one superpower country can also be managed by smaller, less powerful countries. And this is what happened in World War, where the group's order was changing. And that's why I'm saying the world order is changing back again right now again. That's why I'm creating this scene for you all. I have created one scene, which was the powerful markets of the world is been driven by derivatives, and derivatives is not understood by many. That was the first scene. Now the second scene is the world order is again changing, but I am going into the history by explaining how the world order had changed then. And during then, most of the countries, while they were following gold standard, but they were not able to prosper. Rather, they were fighting with each other, and US was not fighting. What US did was, US started to do industrialization and produce those goods which were required by the world to fight war. That means he started to engage by selling them all defense equipments, all capital equipments, all food items, so that they could fight war amongst each other. But US was not fighting a war. Slowly and steadily, these economies, they stopped adopting gold standard. It is mentioned on Google as well. Why did they stop? Because they were not able to manage. So they said, do hell with the gold reserve. Let me print money, boss. Now, there were two repercussions. One, in order to implement gold standard, you have actually taken gold, you have actually confiscated gold from all the households so that the government has the gold. So that means you as a household will not be able to procure gold, only the jewelry which you are wearing, okay, no problem. Rest of the gold, nothing doing. You give me your gold, boss. Your gold coins, your gold bullion, your gold available with your goldsmith. There were no lockers then. So I'm talking about goldsmith. So whatever gold you are wearing, okay, earrings, bangles, although there is no culture of wearing bangles out there, but still whatever minimal gold you are wearing, no problem, rest of the gold, give it to me. And whole of the gold was confiscated from the common household. And one fine day, the common household was given assurance that don't worry, your gold is lying with me. This piece of paper with you is granted by the gold with me. But suddenly I say gold standard has gone off. So that means the piece of paper with you, you say, do hell with this piece of paper. What do I do with this? I need my gold back. And I as a government tell you, shut up, because the world is engaging in a world war. So please don't interfere. You sit back at your home. Otherwise, I'll make you slave. So there was all sort of exploitation of the people across globe. And hence they were being exploited, slavery, etc., etc., etc. But US maintained its gold standard. Why did US maintain its gold standard? Because US was exporting the goods, and in return, it was asking for gold. And he was saying, I am the big daddy of the world. Don't worry, I will maintain my gold standard. So I will be securing the world because I have the gold of the world. And by 1945, when the First and the Second World War finished off, US was having almost 80% of the gold reserves known then, not today, known then, which was approximately 8,000 tons. Today also US owns approximately 8,000 tons of the gold, and US owns 80%. US owned, not today, US owned 80% of the gold reserves known then. And what US told was, bringing all the countries together, almost 45 countries came together at a place called as Bretton Woods in US, wherein US had invited all these countries together. And he told them, hello boss, so you have fought your war. You have printed currency. Because of your printing of the currency, the inflation has gone up. You do not have gold. Gold is lying with me. Your people are suffering. Inflation is suffering. You do not have goods. You do not have industrialization. You are looted, boss. So better is, you regard me as a big daddy. Let me form a United Nations. I'll lead the youth show. And let your currency be fixed with gold. But the country said, sir, we do not have gold. You said, oh, no problem. The gold is with me. So let your currency be fixed with gold paper. So country said, sir, what is gold paper? Arey yaar, the dollar is the gold paper na. That means treat this piece of paper of dollar as a gold paper. Because all the gold backed by this dollar paper is lying with me. So all the countries thought, we have got no choice. Let us agree to it, because if we don't agree, the inflation is going up. We are not able to manage our people. So what do we do? So they agreed. So US said, no problem. Whenever one fine day, you are able to have more exports than the imports and you have more dollars, come back to me. I will buy my dollars and I'll give you your gold back. So you can earn your Bonvilla chocolate. Yeah. So world countries agreed. They said, okay, we'll push in our efforts and we'll try to engage more industrialization in our economy. We'll have more exports more than the import. And then one fine day we'll go to US. We'll say, hello, boss, take your dollar back. Give us our gold. And what did US do? US behaved like a big daddy and US printed more money than what gold was available. And slowly and steadily, by 1971, Japan and Germany came to US. They said, hello, sir, please take your dollars back. Our exports is more than imports, and give us our gold back. When this happened on 15th August, 1971, Mr. Nixon, who was the US president then, he announced on public television that there are some speculative forces who want to overpower dollar, and hence will not allow them to overpower dollar. And hence now, from now onwards, US dollar is not backed by gold, and gold will not be returned back against the dollars from you. And if you have more dollars, you can invest in our bonds. You can invest in our US treasuries, but we will not give you your gold back. So please forget about gold. Gold is with me. I am the sole owner of the gold. Unless and until you find some new mines of the gold, you are totally dependent upon me, because now I am the superpower, whether I have the backing of the gold or not. I hope this is clear. Yeah. Now, this world order 1971, when this was taking place, US thought that maybe if these Japanese and German countries have become industrialized hub, I need to stop them from growing. And there came China. So Chinese leadership got changed from Mao Zedong to Xi Jinping, who met the president of US, Jimmy Carter. So उनकी आपस में क्या बात हुई, प्रिया जी? उनकी बात ये हुई, the Chinese leadership told Jimmy Carter, sir, we want to come out of this poverty, sir. We want to grow like you, sir. US said, you can grow, but point is, I will outsource my industrialization to you. However, you will not consume whatever you produce. So you will adopt a one-child policy so that you are not able to consume what you produce, so that you are not able to develop on your own. And whatever you produce, you sell it back to me in US, I will pay you in dollars. And these goods which I import from you, I will sell it to the world. So पहले मैं अपने घर पे बना रहा था और वर्ल्ड को बेच रहा था. अब मैं अपने घर पे नहीं बनाऊंगा, तेरे घर पे बनाऊंगा, मगर तू अपने घर पे यूज नहीं करेगा और तू किसी को बेचेगा भी नहीं, तू मेरे को बेचेगा, मैं वर्ल्ड को बेचूंगा. बट ऑब्वियसली एक तो मेरा यहाँ पे पोल्यूशन कम हो जाएगा, ऊपर से चाइना मेरे ऊपर डिपेंडेंट हो जाएगा, और अगर उसकी डोमेस्टिक कंजम्पशन टूट जाएगी, अगर वन चाइल्ड पॉलिसी वो अडॉप्ट कर लेगा, तो मैं जापान को भी आंखें दिखा दूंगा और जर्मनी को भी आंखें दिखा दूंगा. तो चाइना ने कहा, माई बाप, ये जो मैं आपके गुड्स बनाऊंगा और आपको बेचूंगा, बदले में आप मेरे को डॉलर दोगे, इस डॉलर का मैं करूंगा क्या? क्योंकि मेरे को तो ऑयल खरीदना है, कॉपर खरीदना है माल बनाने के लिए आपके लिए मिलॉर्ड. तो यूएस ने कहा, टेंशन ना ले, मैं अभी सऊदी से मिलके आया हूं, सऊदी को बोला है, योर बिलिंग ऑफ ऑयल विल बी डन इन डॉलर, विच इज कॉल्ड एज पेट्रो डॉलर. So if oil is billed in dollar, that means copper, iron, every commodity will be billed in dollar. So don't worry, you are earning dollar from me. This dollar will be used in buying oil, copper, iron. You continue your industrialization process, and तब भी तेरे पास कोई डॉलर बच जाए तो मेरे यूएस के ट्रेजरी में इन्वेस्ट कर देना, या मेरे यूएस की प्रॉपर्टी में इन्वेस्ट कर देना. यानी कि चाइना और यूएस की शादी होगी, जिसको बोला चिमेरिका, यानी चाइना एंड अमेरिका गेटिंग मैरिड. जब ऐसा हो रहा था, जर्मनी का, अरे ये तो यूएस हमारे साथ था और आज हमारे अगेंस्ट हो गया. तो जर्मनी ने रशिया के साथ शादी कर ली, जिसको बोला हमने यूरशिया, यूरोप एंड रशिया, यानी कि यूरशिया, दोनों की शादी हो गई. एक शादी यूरशिया, दैट मींस यूरोप एंड रशिया गोइंग टुगेदर, एंड एक शादी यूएस एंड अमेरिका, व्हिच इज चिमेरिका टुगेदर. बट सडनली व्हाट हैपेंड वाज, लास्ट ईयर US imposed sanctions upon Russia, like he did with Iran, Iraq, Libya, etc. But he took a wrong panga. He dialed a wrong number. And when he dialed a wrong number, China also realized that whatever US investment I have been doing, one fine day US can sanction it. So immediately China and Russia got married. China divorced America. Since China divorced America, America ensured that Russia divorces Eurasia. That's why that Nord Stream, जिसमें बम लगा के फोड़ दिया, ताकि रशिया और जर्मनी की लड़ाई हो जाए, और ऊपर से यूक्रेन वाला अटैक कर दिया, ताकि नेटो कंट्रीज के बहाने एंटी रशिया एक मूवमेंट हो जाए, ताकि यूरोपियन कंट्रीज आपस में डिवाइड हो जाए, ताकि वो रशिया के फेवर में ना रहे, और उनको सैंक्शंस लगा दी कि अब हम रशिया के ऊपर सैंक्शंस लगाएंगे, उससे तेल नहीं खरीदेंगे. तो यूरोप ने कहा भाई तेल नहीं खरीदेंगे, हम करेंगे क्या? कहते टेंशन ना ले, मैं सऊदी से लेके तेरे को बेच दूंगा, तू टेंशन ना ले। सो वो रशिया वो यूएस की शादी टूटी और यूएस ने दूसरी शादी तोड़ दी। मगर इसमें क्या हुआ, प्रॉब्लम ये हो गई, यहां पे रशिया और चाइना की बहुत बढ़िया शादी हो गई, जिसको बोलते हैं चशिया। अब ये शादी क्यों बढ़िया हो गई? क्योंकि प्रिया जी, रशिया एनर्जी प्रोड्यूसर है और चाइना फैक्ट्री है, दोनों को ही तो आपस में साथ मिल गया। अब चैलेंज क्या है इस पूरे सिनेरियो में? चैलेंज इज दिस, दैट नाउ growing more countries are coming together in the groups like happened in World War I and World War II. If this is getting developed all together, the next challenge is US has got no industry except technology or defense. या तो वर्ल्ड में लड़ाई करवाएगा तो डिफेंस बिकेगा, और अगर वर्ल्ड में उसका डिफेंस नहीं बिका, किसी और का बिका लाइक इंडिया वगैरह का, तो फिर उसको डिफेंस को कोई नहीं पूछेगा। और अगर उसको डिफेंस के पैसे ना आए तो टेक्नोलॉजी के सहारे तो पूरी इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन क्या चलाएगा? जैसे एज एन एग्जांपल, उसका टूथपेस्ट जो है चाइना से आता है, उसका जीन्स बांग्लादेश से आता है, उसका टॉवल इंडिया से आता है, उसका अंडरवियर हॉन्डुरास से आता है, उसका खाने पीने की आइटम पूरे वर्ल्ड से आती है। और ये सारे वर्ल्ड से आइटम किस में करेंसी में आती है? डॉलर में आती है। और अगर रशिया, चाइना और ऐसे कई कंट्रीज दे स्टार्ट सेइंग वी डोंट नीड डॉलर नाउ, वी नीड योर गोल्ड, तो ये तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी बहुत बड़ी। बिकॉज ऑफ यूएस सेज नो 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 गोल्ड, दे विल से ओके, नो अंडरवियर, नो टूथपेस्ट, नो फूड आइटम्स, नो जीन्स, नो टॉवल, no hair brusher. Rather, for that matter, you think if you visit US Walmart or a Costco, it will become empty and the prices will go skyrocketing high and they will not be able to manage the prices then. अब ये टेंशन उसको लगी हुई है, एंड ऊपर से इंडिया लीडिंग द शो कर रहा है ब्रिक्स करेंसी. That means this scene is another scene which will lead to building of more small war-like situations, which will lead to a bigger war altogether. It has to happen. Why it has to happen? Because US is losing its hegemony. अब ये दोनों सिनेरियो में जो मैंने पहले बताया और जो अब बताया, because of this second scenario, we need to understand that a lot many NRIs across Western world would want to come back to India. Point number one. And we as a chartered accountant have got huge opportunity in tying up with NRIs who want to bring back their money back to India. I call it as reverse immigration. The global shifting is happening. Within point number two, these all NRIs, even if they don't come back to India, they stay there, no problem. But they would want to send their money back to India. And that's why we have opened UPI. So that you can send your money back immediately before the dollar falls happen. Before the de-dollarization as a process happens. Before your money lying in dollars or money invested in Western world, and while they get engaged in the war, it is better that you shift your money back to some safer country, which is being projected as being India. So that means money will flow into India from NRIs, and hence chartered accountants again have an opportunity to manage their money. And the third point is, a lot many people within India who are dependent upon US-based MNCs or Western world-based MNCs, they will lose their jobs. If they lose their jobs, maybe a third opportunity which a chartered accountant can bank upon is to run a HR management consulting firm. Maybe a recruitment firm. Because see, let me give you an example. A chartered accountant is an auditor of various MSMEs. MSMEs are homegrown industry dependent upon home. So that means they are insulated from the world economic challenges to a certain extent because they are dependent upon the domestic consumption of Indian economy. And a lot many people who will lose their jobs in Indian MNCs or Indian BPO sector who are dependent upon US, they would want to find it a job. And chartered accountant can fix them a job in a MSME, and MSME will get a better talent. So this role play as a chartered accountant can be played by a well-known chartered accountant of that city. This is a third opportunity. अगर हमारे यहाँ पे कुछ बच्चे यंग चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स हैं एंड इफ दे बिलीव कि हमारे पास इतनी जान पहचान नहीं है, गो एंड कोलैबोरेट विद सीनियर चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स इन योर सिटी because they do not have time to think over it. They are already busy in their own auditing and taxation practice. So try to collaborate with them on these domains. Third point. Fourth point. Priyaji, point is there are so many people, including chartered accountants, who do not understand markets and financial planning or portfolio management, and which we know. Being a chartered accountant, we can always accept, we don't. In the name of fundamental analysis, what we do is financial analysis. That is not fundamental analysis. We do not understand global economy, global markets, etc. In the name of markets, we do technical analysis, which is again not happening because based on technical analysis, we end up being a trader, and being a trader, we are not able to make money. And what we end up doing is holding for long term. तो अगर सोचो प्रिया जी, अगर चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट खुद अपने पैसे के ऊपर पैसा नहीं बना सकते, तो अदर देन चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट की क्या मजाल की वो बना पाए? तो आप ये सोचो, आपके शहर में जिस शहर से ये बच्चे जुड़े हैं आज, या जो लोग जुड़े हैं, सीनियर लोग जो, मैं उनको बच्चे बोल रहा हूं, आई एम सो सॉरी फॉर दैट, बट दीज ऑल चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हु हैव जॉइंड इन फ्रॉम डिफरेंट सिटीज थिंक इन देयर ओन सिटीज no one else is able to make money on money if you yourself cannot make money on your own money. And if you can learn how to make money on your own money, that means you can run this as a business practice, and which we call it as financial planning, portfolio advisory. And you need not take someone's money. किसी का पैसा नहीं लेना है, उसको एडवाइस करना है, और एडवाइस के लिए आपको नॉलेज चाहिए. नॉलेज कब आएगी? जब खुद के पैसे के ऊपर मैनेज करके पैसा कमाओगे तो ही बोलोगे ना. खुद करना नहीं आता होगा तो उसको कैसे गाइड करेगी? So idea is that based on these order shifting of the world and most of the people not understanding derivatives, we have got a rare opportunity to get into this domain of handling financial markets and portfolio management based with advisory service. Let's take an example and then we'll wind up. I have got 11 minutes to go by more further. Let us say, Priya ji, आपके पास पैसे हैं. आपके पास एक ICICI बैंक से आया, एक HDFC बैंक से आया, एक एक्सिस बैंक से आया, एक IC सिक्योरिटी से आया, एक एंजल ब्रोकिंग से आया, एक मोतीलाल से आया. हर कोई जो आपके पास पैसा लेने आया है, एट द एंड ऑफ द डे ही इज अ ब्रोकर. चाहे वो आपका डीमेट के अकाउंट पे खोले, ट्रेडिंग करेंगे सर, F&O, या वो बोले सर लॉन्ग टर्म मैं आपको शेयर्स बताऊंगा, वी विल बिल्ड वेल्थ, या थर्ड ऑप्शन इज सर म्यूचुअल फंड में लगाएंगे सर, म्यूचुअल फंड में. अरे म्यूचुअल फंड भी कहां लगाता है? शेयर में लगाता है और कहां लगाता है? फोर्थ, सर आपके पास टाइम नहीं है, मैं आपका पैसा लेके खुद मैनेज करूंगा, PMS, पोर्टफोलियो मैनेजमेंट सर्विसेज. वो भी क्या है? वो भी तो यही है. अभी जो सारे लोग हैं, ये सारे लोग अपना प्रोडक्ट बेचने आए. नॉलेज इनमें से किसी के पास नहीं. ये बात अलग है, इनमें से कोई एरिया हेड होएगा, कोई रीजनल हेड होएगा, कोई जोनल हेड होएगा, कोई नेशनल हेड होएगा, मगर ये सारे जो नेशनल तक पहुंचे होंगे, और नॉलेज के कारण नहीं, वो कितने लोगों को बेच के प्रमोशन खाई है उसके कारण पहुंचे होंगे. तो अगर आपके पास इनमें से कोई ऐसा चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट आपके पास आता है प्रिया जी, जो आपसे कोई बिजनेस मांगने नहीं आया, वो आपको ज्ञान देने आया, वो आपको ये कह रहा है कि बिकॉज ऑफ सो एंड सो हैपनिंग, उसके कारण वर्ल्ड में ऐसा हो रहा है, वर्ल्ड में ऐसा होने के कारण मार्केट्स में ऐसा हो रहा है, मार्केट्स में ऐसा होने के कारण मनी मेकिंग एक्टिविटी में ऐसा ऐसा होगा, और मैं कुछ नहीं बेच रहा, यानी कि वो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट आपको कुछ नहीं बेच रहा, और आपसे बातें करता है और बातें करके फिर चले जाता है. फिर उसके बाद आप उससे पूछते हो कि आप करते क्या हो? वो कहता कुछ नहीं, I advise people on how to make money. उसने पिचिंग कुछ नहीं करी, I am just advising people how to make money. और बाकी जो लोग आए थे आपके पास, वो आपको कहने क्या आए थे? मैम प्लीज एक डीमेट अकाउंट खुला लो, मैम एक प्रमोशन का सवाल है, नौकरी का सवाल है, इंसेंटिव का सवाल है, मेरी नौकरी चली जाएगी, वगैरह 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 वगैरह. और वो आदमी ने आपको कुछ नहीं मांगा, वो ज्ञान देके चला गया. फिर दोबारा उसने फोन किया, और मैडम कैसे हो, मैं यहां से गुजर रहा था, आपसे मिलता हुआ जाता. आपने कहा हाँ हाँ आजा आजा आजा. क्योंकि आपको लगा कुछ और नया ज्ञान देगा, उसने फिर आपको कोई नया ज्ञान दिया, आपने मजे ही आ गए ज्ञान का। फिर आप उससे पूछते आप करते क्या? कुछ नहीं मैम, फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग एडवाइजरी की फीस लेता हूं। तो आप कहते अच्छा कितनी फीस लेते हो? उसने बोला मैम मैं तो फोनो फ्रेंड हूं, आपसे आपका जो सबसे सस्ता नौकर है उसके बराबर की फीस लूंगा, जस्ट टू स्टार्ट। तो मैम आपके घर में सबसे चीप लेबर, हालांकि मैं डिमीन नहीं कर रहा सीए को, बट सबसे चीप लेबर कौन होएगा?
गार्डनर में भी
कितना लेता होएगा?
500।
500, यानी कि 1000 मान लेते हैं, मेड गार्डनर वगैरह। वी आर नॉट कंपेयरिंग आवर स्किल सेट विद देम, दे हैव देयर ओन स्किल सेट, वी हैव आवर ओन स्किल सेट, नॉट टू डिमीन देयर प्रोफाइल, नॉट टू डिमीन आवर सेंस ऑफ एजुकेशन, बट हमने 1000 रुपीज ले लिया। अब मैं 1000 रुपीज में मैं आपको पता क्या क्या ज्ञान दूंगा? म्यूचुअल फंड कहां पे लगाना है, उसका शार्प रेशियो क्या है, उसका बीटा क्या है, उसका अल्फा क्या है, और उसको कब कब चर्न करना है, rather देन होल्डिंग फॉर लॉन्ग टर्म, क्योंकि होल्डिंग फॉर लॉन्ग टर्म वो कराते हैं जिनको ट्रेल कमीशन मिलता है। कौन से शेयर्स में कब लगाना है, कब निकल जाना है, बेस्ड ऑन अंडरस्टैंडिंग, बेस्ड ऑन नॉलेज, बेस्ड ऑन एजुकेशन, प्रोवाइडेड मेरे को खुद आता हो तो मैं आपको सिखा रहा हूं। कौन से रियल एस्टेट में कब चर्न करना है वगैरह वगैरह, एंड कौन से पोर्टफोलियो का आपका पोर्टफोलियो का ओवरऑल रिस्की लिक्विड एसेट, रिस्क फ्री लिक्विड एसेट, रिस्की इलिक्विड एसेट, रिस्क फ्री इलिक्विड एसेट का पूरा पोर्टफोलियो साइंटिफिकली शार्प रेशियो के थ्रू, बीटा के थ्रू, अल्फा के थ्रू मैं पूरा मैनेज कर रहा हूं। एंड ये पूरा ज्ञान के अलावा बाकी भाई साहब आपको कोई भी मार्केट की नॉलेज वगैरह सो भी ज्ञान हो जो गूगल पे अवेलेबल ना हो, जो रेयर हो, वो मैं आपको ज्ञान दूंगा। बदले में आपसे महीने का 1000 रुपये लूंगा। मना कर दोगे आप? नहीं। तो नॉर्मली एक फ्रेशर चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट जब बेचारा जॉब में जाता है तो उसको हाथ में कितने पैसे आते हैं? पैकेज देखो 6 भी हो सकता है, 8 भी हो सकता है, 9 भी आ सकता है, हाथ में उसको जितने पैसे आते हैं उसको मल्टीप्लाई बाय उतने क्लाइंट्स चाहिए। उतने क्लाइंट्स अगर आ जाएं और साथ में उसके पास ऐसी रेयर नॉलेज हो, तो 6 महीने के बाद वो सारे क्लाइंट से एक एक रेफरल लेगा तो डबल हो गया। सपोज मैंने 25 क्लाइंट बना लिया, 25,000 हो गया। 25,000 मैं अपने शहर में, मेरे को अपना शहर छोड़ के बॉम्बे, दिल्ली, बैंगलोर नहीं जाने की जरूरत। तो अगर मेरे को पैकेज मिलता है 9 लाख का, बॉम्बे में इन हैंड आता है 50,000, तो मेरे घर में जो बचाता हूं मैं वहां पे 50,000 में जीरो। और यही अगर मैं अपने घर में रहता हूं, लेटर से फगवाड़ा में या अंबाला में या इंदौर में या नासिक में या जहां पे मेरा घर है, और वहीं पे मैं अगर 25 क्लाइंट कमा लेता हूं, 25,000 मैं सेव करता हूं, क्योंकि मैं फैमिली यूनिट सिस्टम में बैठा हूं। छोड़ो 25 में 10 तो आ ही जाएंगे क्लाइंट। मेरे बापू के पास इतनी जान पहचान होगी, मेरे रिश्तेदार के पास होगी, जिस शहर में मैं पला बड़ा हूं वहां पे 10 क्लाइंट तो आ ही जाएंगे, प्रोवाइडेड मेरे पास नॉलेज है। जैसे ही 10 क्लाइंट आएंगे मैं 10,000 पे सेव कर रहा हूं। और अगर मैं बॉम्बे, बैंगलोर, पुणे जाता, मैं एक पैसा नहीं सेव कर रहा था, बल्कि खाना भी मैगी पे था। यहाँ पे घर का खाना खा रहा हूं। वहां पे लोकल मेट्रो में थक जाता था, यहाँ पे मैं घर में आराम से आलीशान बंगले में अपने घर वालों के साथ बैठा हुआ, कोई टेंशन नहीं है। कोविड आए, जो मर्जी आए, फैमिली यूनिट सिस्टम पूरा स्ट्रांग है, आराम से बैठे हुए। ये 10 क्लाइंट 6 महीने के बाद एक एक रेफरेंस देंगे, 20 बन जाएंगे, उसके 6 महीने ये 40 बन जाएंगे, एंड दिस इज अ बिजनेस मॉडल। फिर भी कई चार्टर्ड अकाउंट को लगता हो कैसे करेंगे यार शुरुआत में? एक और तरीका है, रेयर नॉलेज लेके ज्वाइन एनी ब्रोकिंग हाउस और ए बैंकिंग कंपनी इन योर ओन लोकल सिटी। नॉर्मली चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट किस चीज से डरते हैं? सेल्स करने से डरते हैं, मगर वो ये भूल जाते हैं जिंदगी भर सेल्स ही तो करते हैं। हर आदमी सेल्स ही तो करता है। तो अगर ये सेल्स करने से डरते हैं तो इनको ये पता होना चाहिए कि अगर किसी ब्रोकिंग या बैंकिंग कंपनी अपने लोकल शहर में ज्वाइन कर लें, और इनका सिर्फ एक ही टारगेट होना चाहिए, हर रोज 2 मीटिंग करना, बिजनेस तो हो ही जाएगा। क्योंकि अगर 2 मीटिंग हर रोज कर रहे हैं तो इनसे बेटर कोई और बिजनेस कर भी नहीं पाएगा। सीए खुद है, डिसिप्लिन ये खुद है, नॉलेज इनसे ज्यादा किसी और एमबी के पास होगी नहीं। तो अगर ये बेसिकली 2 मीटिंग भी हर रोज करते रहेंगे, धंधा थोड़ा बहुत तो कर ही लेंगे। मगर इट इज नॉट अबाउट धंधा। एक महीने में ये 50 क्लाइंट से मिल लेंगे, 12 महीने में 600 क्लाइंट से मिल लेंगे, 2 साल की नौकरी में 1200 क्लाइंट से मिल लेंगे। वो 1200 क्लाइंट के साथ ऐसा रेयर नॉलेज शेयर अगर इन्होंने किया होगा 2 साल में, तो 2 साल के बाद जब वो क्लाइंट के पास जाएंगे, सर मैं नौकरी छोड़ रहा हूं, अपना काम शुरू कर रहा हूं, अब मैं ब्रोकिंग का काम नहीं करूंगा, आपसे 1000 रुपये महीना चार्ज करूंगा। 1200 में से 10% क्लाइंट तो मान ही जाएंगे। मैथ्स आप खुद कर सकते हैं। यानी कि this is the power of financial markets, because not many people understand. And before you understand financial markets, you need to understand derivatives. And because 99.99% people cannot understand derivatives because they have not learned or they have not worked in the treasury department of a bank. I will be happy if someone wants to be in this journey of learning. I have got a huge network group, complimentary. Maybe they can share their details with me and I can get them added in my network group. I keep on sharing information about markets, economic policies, complimentary, so that they have some knowledge. They can search me on Google, search me on YouTube, search me on Instagram, AMANCHUGHCA. And maybe since I'm not supposed to be sharing my number, so I'm not sharing my number, but I'm sure they can find me on Google. And if they wish, I can get them added. They can follow me on Twitter. They can get in touch with me over on Instagram. They can get in touch with me on YouTube. So I'll be happy if I'm able to contribute to their lives and maybe make some more career paths of these young aspiring chartered accountants. With this, namaskar hai, Jai Hind hai. Any queries if you have, I'll be happy to address them. Bye.
Thank you so much. It was indeed a very informative session, sir. I've been reading the comments and everybody actually loved the session. And they've been telling that you gave a very great explanation. And also it was very interesting, even without the PPT. So I've received a lot of comments as well. And definitely if somebody asks any of the information and if they want to get added in the group, I'll definitely forward it to you. Right, sir? So we have 2-3 questions that have come. So just let me go through it. Okay, so CA in practice can be the advisor for their client in managing the portfolio and charge of fees in addition of the auditor of their company, whether it may be treated as a professional misconduct.
They can straight away get into gaining a RIA, which is Registered Investment Advisory License. Ideally, SEBI says in line with your clientele, if you're advising them on that client base, it is allowed. But if you're doing it outside your client base, you need to have a registered investment advisory license. Hardly क्या 2 एग्जाम ही हैं, CA पार कर ली, ये 2 एग्जाम तो कुछ भी नहीं है. But it is not about getting a RIA. The bigger point, Priya ji, is to have that unparalleled knowledge of understanding. वो पढ़ के ऐसे नहीं आएगी, वो Google से नहीं आएगी, वो किसी कोर्स से नहीं आएगी, वो किसी ट्रेनर, टीचर, फैकल्टी वहां से नहीं आएगी, क्योंकि इनको वहां पे कोर पे जाना पड़ेगा कि वो डेरिवेटिव्स की अंडरस्टैंडिंग, जो पर्सन है जिसने खुद डेरिवेटिव्स में काम किया हो ट्रेजरी ऑफ अ बैंक में, वहां से ओरिजिनल सोर्स पे जाना पड़ेगा. एंड जब तक वो लर्निंग प्रोसेस कंप्लीट नहीं होगी, तो ये चाहे जो मर्जी रिया लाइसेंस ले लो, उसका कोई फायदा नहीं.
Right. The next question is, have credit procedures and the risk management process really improved after the global financial crisis?
Actually, risk management procedures normally get evolved after one or the other fraud which has already happened in the past. See, fraud पहले होता है, risk management procedures उसके बाद develop होते हैं. So I would not say risk management procedures have developed in terms of sacrosanct. बट मैं यहाँ पे इनको कुछ और ग्लिम्स देता हूँ, एंड शायद आपके थ्रू आपको नोट करना पड़ेगा जब मैं आपको एक्सप्लेन करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ.
डेफिनेटली सर.
वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड ने हमें एक इकोनॉमिक सिस्टम दिया जिसमें ये सारे अनएथिकल प्रैक्टिसेस आई, जिसके कारण रिस्क मैनेजमेंट का इश्यूज आया, जिसको हम बोलते हैं कैपिटलिज्म. और दूसरे पार्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड ने दिया कम्युनिज्म. कैपिटलिज्म दिया एडम स्मिथ ने या कीन्स ने, जिसको हम पढ़ते हैं और हम सोचते हैं कि वो फादर ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स हैं. मगर वो फादर ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स अगर होते तो कभी वर्ल्ड में रिसेशन और डिस्पैरिटी ना होता. वर्ल्ड में हर 5 साल के बाद स्लो डाउन, रिसेशन, डिस्पैरिटी क्यों होता है? क्योंकि उनका इकोनॉमिक मॉडल एक्सप्लॉयटेशन का है. दे हैव रिगार्डेड पर्सन एज अ यूनिट ऑफ लेबर. कमाल है यार, इमोशनल वैल्यू भी खत्म कर दिया तुमने. जो कम्युनिज्म है वो सारे लोगों को गरीब रखना चाहता है, क्योंकि वो कहता है स्टेट के पास कंट्रोल होना चाहिए. वहां पे भी एक्सप्लॉयटेशन. एक्सट्रीम एंड ऑफ कैपिटलिज्म, प्रिया जी, शुरू करता है कम्युनिज्म, और एक्सट्रीम एंड ऑफ कम्युनिज्म शुरू करता है कैपिटलिज्म. तो आप ये सोचो कि हिंदुस्तान में ऐसा क्या था कि हम नॉन स्टॉप 1700 ईयर्स 20% ऑफ द जीडीपी को रूल करते थे, और इंडिया और चाइना इकट्ठे मिलकर हालांकि ये चाइना नहीं जिस चाइना की हम आज बात कर रहे हैं, वो चाइना जो इंडिया चाइना के साथ था, जो ओरिजिनल नेशनलिस्ट पार्टी थे, जो आजकल ताइवान है। ये मैं कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी की बात नहीं कर रहा, जो ओरिजिनल नेशनलिस्ट पार्टी ऑफ चाइना, जो पुराना चाइना था, उसके साथ जब इंडियन सिविलाइजेशन थी, तो उसको हम क्या कहते थे? सनातन इकोनॉमिक मॉडल। वो सनातन इकोनॉमिक मॉडल हम क्या कहते थे? कोई कैपिटलिज्म नहीं, कोई कम्युनिज्म नहीं, हम कहते थे फैमिली यूनिट सिस्टम। और पूरी सोसाइटी में हम क्या कहते थे? नौकरी नहीं, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप। जब हम ऐसा करते थे तो आपको देखने को मिलेगा, हम लिखते हैं शुभ लाभ, यानी कि एथिकल प्रैक्टिस से कमाया हुआ प्रॉफिट।
राइट।
तो हम तो शुरू से एथिकल थे। ये बिजनेस एथिक्स जो हमें आज पढ़ाई जा रही है, वो इसलिए क्योंकि इनका कैपिटलिज्म और उनका कम्युनिज्म वहां से अनएथिक्स ही तो आए हैं। तो इसलिए रिस्क मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम तब तक रॉबस्ट नहीं हो सकता जब तक इकोनॉमिक सिस्टम में जो इकोनॉमिक्स का तड़का जो कैपिटलिज्म और कम्युनिज्म का है, ये हट ना जाए।
Right. The next question is, how should the functioning of financial markets be improved to reduce the scale of triggering financial or economic crisis?
मैंने आंसर दिया, कोई सेम है।
Are current financial markets over-regulated or overly deregulated in their functioning?
In India, we are quite regulated. We are quite regularly regulated, and in a wonderful manner, except for fiascos which have happened in the past few years, about which CBI inquiry has just been conducted on those all National Stock Exchange frauds, etc., etc. I'm not getting into that because that will be a political statement then. But yes, at present, our financial market and economic system is quite managed and regulated very well. And it is better than the Western world, I must say.
How monetary policy affect risk and uncertainty in financial markets?
Actually, ये क्वेश्चन को मैं थ्योरेटिकली अगर अंडरस्टैंड करूं तो मैं यूं समझा सकता हूं कि जब हम वर्ल्ड में स्लो डाउन आता है, रिसेशन आता है, मार्केट्स क्रैश कर रही होती हैं, तो इंटरेस्ट रेट्स नॉर्मली शुड गो डाउन so that more liquidity can be pumped in. But this is a theoretically good statement, but practically it is not feasible enough. Reason क्या है? Because economic slowdown या financial markets का जो downfall है, it is not necessarily happening because of only economic activity. It can happen because of derivatives, some rumor, some planting of some information, etc. तो मेरे को लगता है कि इसके बारे में once they go deeper into understanding these all things, maybe what I can suggest them is they can type on YouTube portfolio education by Aman Chugh, AMANCHUGH. There's a playlist of 9 videos. So within those 9 videos, they will find a lot of information about misconception of long term, misconception of markets and economy being together. So there are many misconceptions which have been eradicated through those 9 videos. And plus there is also another series over YouTube, which I call it as Myths, Misconceptions and Mistakes in Financial Planning by Aman Chugh. So I'm sure he will find a lot many answers, relevant answers to his question as well.
Right, sir. That are all the questions that we had. Thank you so very much, sir. And not being a chartered accountant, but I would love to be a financial advisor because I actually understood the concepts. Thank you so very much, sir, for the webinar and your guidance, sir. Thank you so much.
Namaskar, Haji. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much.